Now on the CTV News at 5, Lethbridge Hurricanes GM Peter Anholt is suspended and the team fined. Plus, no injuries in a plane crash at the Lethbridge Airport. And the Angel Tree Christmas campaign kicks off.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Lethbridge Hurricanes general manager Peter Anholt has been suspended by the Western Hockey League after he breached league standards of conduct inside the dressing room after a game in October. As Carson Marsouk reports, the head coach of the Swift Current Broncos has also been suspended in a separate incident.
Lethbridge Hurricanes general manager Peter Anholt has been suspended from his duties until November 25th. In a release, the Western Hockey League says Anholt breached the WHL standards of conduct through use of intimidating behavior and language during a post-game address to players in the dressing room. The incident happened after the Hurricanes played the Edmonton Oil Canes on October 29th, a game which the Hurricanes lost 8-6. The WHL says the situation was brought to its attention through its anonymous WHL Respect line, which provides players and staff with a confidential avenue to report concerns or incidents that may violate WHL standards. In response, Anholt says he accepts the discipline, saying my behavior and language in addressing our team did not meet expectations. He went on to say the Hurricanes have also believed in providing a positive environment for our players. Anholt, who has been with the club since 2014, says he is committed to a higher standard moving forward. The Hurricanes have also been issued a $10,000 fine. In a separate incident announced at the same time, the head coach of the Swift Current Broncos has been issued a 5-game suspension after he breached the standards during 2 separate on-ice incidents. The incidents were also reported using the anonymous line. Head coach Dean De Silva resigned Friday. League Commissioner Dan Neer says accountability is a cornerstone of the WHL's culture. When those standards are not met, we take the necessary steps to uphold integrity and protect the well-being of everyone involved in our game. The 2 incidents were the first calls the Respect line has received this season. Both the Hurricanes and the Board of Governors would not provide any further comment. Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
3 men are facing charges after Lethbridge police uncovered $85,000 worth of stolen goods. On Monday, members of the downtown policing unit found a man inside a storage compound on 10th Street South, and police say he was opening units and sea cans and had several break-and-enter tools. A search of the storage facility uncovered $60,000 worth of stolen power tools linked to 5 separate break-and-enters, along with firearms, ammunition, and drugs. A second search of a home on 58th Street South produced $25,000 in stolen goods, along with a truck. Brad Robinson and Yancey Scott from Lethbridge, along with Sean Freilich from Pincher Creek, are charged. Well, no one was hurt after a small plane crashed at the Lethbridge Airport yesterday afternoon. Officials say a twin-propeller Cessna 441 Conquest had come to rest on a grass ebb side on an active runway. The Transportation Safety Board says the plane landed with its landing gear retracted. There was 1 person on board and no one was injured. The flight originated from Tabor. The airport was closed for about 5 hours yesterday, and a WestJet flight from Calgary was cancelled.
We just want to get the airport back up and running, and we've done that. So now we're going to continue to assess and make sure no additional damage was done to our infrastructure. But at this point, it looks like very minor pavement damage, things like that, that we have to worry about. So as far as our part in the aircraft investigation, we're done with it. We've moved it and we've carried on. So we just now switch back to making sure the airport's safe again.
The incident comes just days after a small plane crashed at the Medicine Hat Regional Airport on Wednesday. 2 people were on board. No one was injured. The TSB is continuing to investigate both incidents. Danielle Savoni, you said the cooler weather was coming, and it's here.
Oh boy, yeah. I mean, many communities in the far south got to 20 yesterday, and today in Lethbridge, look at that. At the same time, the next day, sitting at -1. This did come with a little bit of rain, mist, some snow as well, and even gusty conditions, which I'll show you in just a second. We're below freezing in Lethbridge, Pincher Creek, and Medicine Hat. Again, many of these communities were in the 20s yesterday, and we're at +1 in Brooks at the freezing mark in Milk River. It has also been a gusty day, 70-kilometer-per-hour gusts. That was the max in Lethbridge, close to that in Medicine Hat, and close to 50 in Pincher Creek. It will still be a gusty day tomorrow, but tomorrow temperatures will start to rise once again. Jackie?
All right, thanks, Danielle. Well, the province says it has developed an acute care action plan. It's promising to deliver significant improvements to hospitals immediately, but it also includes long-term planning. The province says to ensure Albertans can access care faster, it will add over 1,000 new hospital beds in Calgary and Edmonton. An additional 50,000 surgeries are being promised over the next 3 years. It will do that by increasing operating room capacity at hospitals and through the use of more private facilities. The government says mental and health addiction are major drivers of emergency visits. To reduce emergency room congestion, it plans to increase the number of permanent psychiatric beds.
For too long, the system's been struggling. The skilled professionals who run it know that. The families facing agonizing waits for treatment know it. And the same goes for the folks who can't even get the care that they need.
In the long term, the government wants to increase continuing care spaces and develop a provincial neonatal intensive care unit strategy. 3 people have died of the flu so far this year, including 1 person in their 40s. Alberta Health's latest numbers also show 14 people requiring intensive care, including 1 child between 1 and 4 years old. Flu vaccines are available at pharmacies through the province, and they are free. Lethbridge's Interfaith Food Bank is putting out an urgent need request for fresh foods. The food bank is looking for fresh fruits, vegetables, bread and dairy. Now that the harvest season has come to an end, the food bank's pick room is drastically low. Danielle McIntyre with the food bank says they will purchase perishable items, but as demand continues to grow, they need the community support to assist.
We guarantee the monthly hamper and those non-perishable items that go into that monthly box. But then as an add-on, we give our client families the opportunity to choose those perishable items. And when they're not here, there's nothing for them to choose from. We are usually pretty good for bread, potatoes. It's those colorful vegetables and fruits, as well as the variety in fresh versus frozen.
Fresh food and monetary donations can be dropped off at Interfaith throughout the week. Alberta's opposition party is calling on the government to raise minimum wage.
The most recent StatCan data shows that more than 1/4 of Calgary households, and remember, Calgary is still the richest city in the country, and more than 1/4 of our households are financially struggling to make ends meet every month. 1/3 of Calgary households, including many, many people who are going to work every day, are struggling with food insecurity.
Alberta's minimum wage is currently the lowest in Canada at $15 an hour, and workers under 18 can be paid $13 an hour. The bill calls for bringing minimum wage up to $18 over the next 3 years. A vote on Bill 201, the Protect Workers' Pay Act, is expected in the legislature on Monday. And the province wants to know your priorities for Budget 2026. An online survey launched today will be available until January 15th. A telephone town hall is also set for December 9th. The finance minister says, along with feedback from the public, he also consults with businesses, municipalities, and industry organizations. Tariffs and the rising cost of a living wage are having a chilling effect on holiday spending this year. Bank of Canada's Real Financial Progress Index reveals 61% of Canadians are cutting spending this year. Some are trying to avoid paying tariffs by buying Canadian. Others are simply accepting that the holidays will cost more. The report shows on average, Canadians believe it will take them more than 2 months to pay off their holiday bills. Lethbridge Family Services has kicked off its annual Angel Tree Christmas campaign. This year's fundraiser is hoping to help 3,500 babies, children, and youth. This is the 33rd year the Lethbridge Family Services has put on the Christmas campaign to support those in the community needing an extra little bit of help during the holiday season. Avonlea Homes has been announced as the presenting sponsor for the 3rd year, and today the company donated $45,000 towards the campaign from different trade companies in Lethbridge.
What it means to us is it tells us that we have trades that are intertwined with our belief, and it's their belief too. And there are many trades, as I always reflect on that board, that have always come back and said, no, we're not done yet, we have more. And that is unimaginable.
It gets scary because the donations obviously aren't coming in as much as they used to with the financial times for a lot of people. So seeing that amount and knowing what it can do, literally let me breathe a little bit, knowing that we can actually touch all the children that we want to, because turning them away is not an option for us.
A list of items and donations needed or to volunteer, you can visit lfsfamily.ca. The 31st Annual Christmas Tree Festival in support of the Chinook Regional Hospital Foundation is set to get underway on Sunday. Nearly 24 companies spent the day decorating 23 trees, which will be auctioned off next week. The annual fundraiser, sponsored by Stringham Law, raises money for the Chinook Regional Hospital and patient care. This year's festival has a new home at the Lethbridge Trade and Convention Centre and features a range of different days, including Family Day on Sunday, Seniors Day on Monday, and Business Day on Tuesday. 100% of the proceeds raised stays right here in Lethbridge.
We can't do what we do without you. So this event is one of our staple fundraisers that helps us to anchor funding all of the equipment, special projects, and programs for our area.
This is one of the 5 pillars that we look at in terms of valuable sponsorship that matches our brand vision.
The Christmas Tree Festival runs from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. from Sunday to Wednesday, and it is free to attend. A dazzling light display is making a return to Lethbridge this holiday season. Glow Lethbridge opens for the season tonight inside the Lethbridge Trade and Convention Centre. This year's show features a fairy tale Christmas theme and includes attractions like train rides, a holiday market, kids zone, and several themed nights. A community area will also be set up with local charities taking part to raise funds for those in need. Tickets are on sale. Glow Lethbridge runs until December the 31st. Well, Danielle is back with your weekend forecast right after this break. Plus, there's a new 4-legged staff member at the Stollery Children's Hospital in Edmonton. We'll tell you about their very important role when we come back.
Well, today was a very different day than yesterday. Yesterday was windy, warm, and brighter. It was gloomy, snowy, mixed precipitation in some cases, slippery roads in some spots. So it's been a taste of winter. And I say a taste because this isn't long lasting. We'll boost back up in temperature tomorrow, but tonight is still, things will stick around. Only a high of 2 in Calgary, -1 in Prince George, but we sent our warmer off to our friends out east. Regina got to 13 and Winnipeg got to 10. So that's okay, it'll come back to us. If you like the warmer temperatures, don't worry, just wait a day, as they say here. Okay, -1 again in Calgary and in Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, Brooks, and Milk River. So we're all below the freezing mark, and wind chill is a part of this as well. Feels closer to -4, -5, even -6 in some areas with the wind chill at the moment. This is a look at the gusts, the maximum gusts for today, 70 in Lethbridge, close to 70 in Medicine Hat, and 48 in Pincher Creek. We're still looking at gusty conditions for tomorrow, likely closer to that 60 kilometer per hour mark for Pincher Creek over to Lethbridge. Medicine Hat looking at 40 kilometer per hour gusts, and to the north of that as well, 40. All right, so we have this system. Actually, the core of it, believe it or not, is all the way up in northern Saskatchewan, northern Manitoba. And that system, the way it spins counterclockwise, is forcing air up the mountains. So this is enhancing the snowfall that we're getting. And that's why we have that band of snow that just keeps coming from the west. So that will continue through the overnight hours. We're not looking at huge totals because it's melting on contact. So no real accumulation from this. But it certainly reduces visibility in some spots, makes the road slick in some spots, and it certainly is a much cooler day when we had 20 degrees yesterday. All right, this will clear out for most communities tonight and through really, really early in the morning. But at 5 in the morning, you can see this starts to pass through another basically swath of it. Mainly rain, but also freezing rain and even snowflakes mixed in with that closer to the Medicine Hat area, and then that shifts out for the afternoon. Everywhere else in the far south looking at this moving out for tomorrow morning. And then sunshine. Sunday looks like some cloud cover, but with some sunny breaks, a little quieter. But it will be windy for the weekend, but temperatures will be much warmer than what we got today. All right, showers overnight in East Kootenay area. Tomorrow, 30% chance of showers and a high of 9 degrees and a good amount of cloud cover. Overnight tonight, that says 10 millimeters of rain, but we are not looking at that. We're looking at mixed precipitation, -4, so mainly in the form of snowfall. And then 70 kilometer per hour gusts tomorrow, but that will get us to a high of 10 tomorrow. -4 -4 overnight in Medicine Hat. Mixed precipitation, freezing rain even included in this, and that could be through tomorrow morning as well. So slick spots are possible and a high of 9. -3 overnight in Lethbridge. Freezing rain, snow. It should end by tomorrow morning, really early in the morning, getting up to a high of 12-13 degrees, but still gusty up to 60 kilometers per hour tomorrow.
Patients at Edmonton's Stollery Hospital now have a paw to hold for comfort and support. The hospital has a dog on staff. It's a first in a Canadian child life specialist facility. CTV's Amanda Anderson has that story.
2-year-old Pumbaa is the newest staff member at the Stollery Children's Hospital.
There's lots of sounds, noises, smells, people, tons of different people who come through here. So we needed to make sure that we really had a bomb-proof for that sound dog, that behaviorally sound dog, that'd be able to handle this type of environment.
He's the most chill lab I've ever met. He just has a calming nature about him. He loves to cuddle and snuggle, and that's his favorite thing to do with the kids, is snuggle on their beds with them.
Matthew Davis's son Jake was one of Pumbaa's first patients.
He was in a medically induced coma, and Pumbaa was actually even just laying beside him, even when he wasn't awake. And what's interesting is now that he's in his recovery stage, he still talks about actually recognizing that Pumbaa was there.
Jake has an extremely rare genetic condition with the inability to repair his DNA. He developed a form of cancer on his liver, requiring a transplant from his mom. They've been at the Stollery since August, with Pumbaa there every step of the way.
You lead the way.
And having the ability to have somebody like Pumbaa here has been even great for me as a parent, just seeing how happy Jake is when Pumbaa comes by.
Pumbaa's here at the Stollery 4 days a week. He puts in an 8-hour shift, but about 6 of those are spent with patients.
Big jump.
Pumbaa is there for emotional support during tests and procedures and serves as motivation to help kids overcome fears.
To be able to provide that safety and that comfort to children in a really unfamiliar, scary environment is amazing.
All costs for Pumbaa are taken care of by the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation donors. Since July, he's already tended to the needs of hundreds of young patients.
To even be able to witness what he can do that I can't do.
Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Have you been feeling stressed lately? Why not pay a visit to a museum? Researchers in London found looking at original paintings in a gallery lowered stress and inflammation markers in as little as 20 minutes. For example, average cortisol fell 22% for those in the gallery, compared with 8% or those seeing reproductions.
So what it showed was that basically people were engaged, highly engaged with the art, but they were also incredibly relaxed.
What's really exciting is that the impact on your health is the same if you know everything about art or if you know nothing about art. So you do not have to know anything about art in order to get the benefits to your health.
The research team says the experiment was small. Adding larger peer-reviewed studies are still needed to better understand the links between arts engagement and health. Still ahead. On the CTV News at 5, Grey Cup celebrations are well underway. Sports is next. The Lethbridge Hurricanes continue a 7-game road trip as they visit the Kelowna Rockets tonight. The games enter the tilt, earning a 5-2 win over the Penticton Vees Wednesday. Now tonight is the only meeting of the season between the Canes and Rockets. Puck drop is set for 7:05. Tomorrow the Canes continue their road trip with a stop in Kamloops against the Blazers. Medicine Hat Tigers, they're on the road as well this weekend. They face off against the Regina Pats tonight before taking on the Brandon Wheat Kings tomorrow. Tigers are currently sitting in 4th in the Central Division. It's also a busy weekend for the Brooks Bandits and Cranbrook Bucks in the BCHL. Bandits are getting ready right now to face off against the Sherwood Park Crusaders. Puck drop at Centennial Regional Arena is at 7 o'clock. Saturday, the Bandits host the Vernon Vipers. And the Cranbrook Bucks are also at home this weekend. They host the West Kelowna Warriors in a doubleheader at Western Financial Place. Puck drop for both games is 7 p.m. Very busy weekend on the hard court for both the University of Lethbridge Pronghorns and Polytechnic Kodiaks. Both the men's and women's basketball teams play a doubleheader against the Manitoba Bison. Tip-off for the Horns women at the Co-op Centre for Sport and Wellness gets underway at 6 tonight, followed by the men at 8. Rubber matches go tomorrow at 5 and at 7. Basketball returns to the Val Mattioti Gymnasium as the Kodiaks this weekend in a pair of important early season tilts. The women take the court against the Lakeland Rustlers tonight at 6, followed by the men at 8. The undefeated Kodiak men's volleyball team sits first in the ACAC South at 5-0. They're on the road and going to play at Lakeland College tonight. Now Saturday, the basketball teams take on the Keano College Huskies. Women are at 6, the men are at 8. The men and women's volleyball teams, they will play at Keano College. With the ski season right around the corner, now is the time to get geared up. The event held at the Lethbridge Trade and Convention Center and began this afternoon and will run again tomorrow from 10 a.m. till 2. It features great deals on new and used gear, things like skis, boards, boots, poles, and apparel, along with helmets. Members of the public are also welcome to sell their gear, so long as it's deemed safe and in good condition. 100% of the proceeds support local volunteer first aid and rescue services provided by the Canadian Ski Patrol Southern Alberta Zone. The 112th Grey Cup is set for Sunday in Winnipeg. This year's Grey Cup pits the Saskatchewan Roughriders up against the Montreal Alouettes. For the Riders, it's their first appearance in the big game since 2013. The Alouettes were last in the Grey Cup in 2023 when they beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. One of the big questions heading into the game is the health of AL's quarterback Davis Alexander. He's been battling a hamstring injury throughout the year and seemed to be re-injuring it last weekend, but he says he is good to go.
If I'm being as honest as possible, it's gone better than I expected. I think the benefit is that I have been dealing with this all year. You know, I think cat's out the bag, so there's nothing really to hide. So I think, yeah, definitely it's gone better than we expected, and just got to keep trending in the right direction and give ourselves the best opportunity to go win this thing.
Action kicks off Sunday, 4 p.m. Mountain on TSN and CTV. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5. What would Grey Cup be without a horse in a building? We've got that story next. A football tradition is continuing at the Grey Cup. A horse walked into a hotel in Winnipeg last night. The tradition began in 1948 when Stampeder fans brought a horse into Toronto's Royal York Hotel. The Calgary Grey Cup Committee is keeping it going.
It's been awesome. Winnipeg's been outstanding. I'll say Manitoba just in general, but Winnipeg's been outstanding. Hospitality.
The horse will also head to Stamps House and the Winnipeg Art Gallery as part of Grey Cup festivities. The Saskatchewan Roughriders face the Montreal Alouettes Sunday in Winnipeg. Well, thank you for sharing this time with us. Now, here's the early edition of the CTV National News.